What's good, y'all? It's House of Agendas. We back. Kid Kinsey, Doug, how you been, man?
Doing good, doing good. Kind of like you wake up and you realize the finals are over and now basketball's done for a while. Um, I know we've paid a little more attention to the WNBA recently, but it's just not the same.
Yeah,
So I'm going to miss basketball for the next couple months for sure.
yeah. I don't. This schedule was kind of weird. Like Sunday they had 4 games. Monday I don't think they had. Yesterday there was 3. Then today there's none. This schedule is just mad weird. Now, granted, they have been on TV a lot more. Like I don't have to like search the dark web to find a stream to watch the game. So like they have
Yeah.
had more national television time. It's just scheduling's a bit weird. But yeah.
Um, yeah, the WNBA, man, it's hard. Like, they're already doing all star voting, and it feels like the season started 2 weeks ago. Like,
Yeah,
I
like
don't.
the Liberty were 5-2 at the time, and Brianna Stewart won Player of the Month. I was like, what? Like what?
Yeah, there's just a lot less games, and it's interesting. Like, the level of play has definitely gone up.
hmm
And I think, like we talked about recently, expansion should be happening sooner than later
Yeah.
because you can see that the play on the floor is much better.
and honestly, with the intro, well, not the intro because they're not there yet, but I think when Clark and Reese get to the league, that's really going to be like a rivalry, like a Magic Bird. Obviously, not because of the color, but I think just with how much eyes they're going to put on the game.
I
Because
wonder if, like, have you thought about this? Like, do you think ESPN, like, I don't know how well ESPN Plus does, but like every game Caitlin Clark plays should be televised somewhere
absolutely,
accessible to people.
absolutely.
Like, there shouldn't be a game she plays her rookie year that is not televised. It just she's just that polar, like she's that good and she's that polarizing that every game they should capitalize on her run. Like, imagine if like she gets to the finals again in the college basketball. Like, she's got to be on TV every week or every game. It just has to be.
Yeah, because like that was the most timeline filled women's sports I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was big time. It was really big time. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be hard for anybody to beat the Aces in a series. Like, I just, as good as the Liberty are, they're not as good as the Aces right now. They're just
Yeah.
not. So that it's kind of like who's going to play the Aces in the finals is really what I'm looking forward to.
hmm
What else we got this week though?
Well, we start off like we said. We both called the series correct. I think you had the right amount of games. I think I had 6. I know you had 5.
Yeah,
But the NBA
yeah.
Finals, before not even addressing the whole, it was boring talk. How do you just like feel about it in general? Like just from purely basketball standpoint.
I enjoyed it. I watched every game. I didn't. I mean, like, here's the. I don't. Like, besides it being a 5 game, a gentleman's sweep. Like, what more did you really want from a series besides maybe like Jimmy playing better? That would have been
hmm
more interesting. But like, overall, the Nuggets, I mean, they didn't shoot great during the series, so that didn't help either. But I thought there was pretty solid basketball being played throughout the series overall. Like, there's any defensive possession you could watch Bam play Jokic really well and watch Jokic have a counter for Bam's defense in a majority of different ways. Like, there's things inside the game that are interesting no
Yeah.
matter what you're watching. So I, I just feel like it's just a popularity thing on Twitter or social media to be like, oh, this is boring, this sucks. Oh, look at the ratings. Like, if you really enjoy the game, like, there's stuff you can watch inside the game that is entertaining for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it. Like there's just some pockets the Nuggets get in where I'm like, bro, that's beautiful basketball. Like I wish my team's offense looked like that. And for people not to just appreciate it, like you said, okay, it didn't have a Curry, there was no LeBron, there was no KD, but there was still good basketball on both ends. Like even just appreciating like the schemes of Coach Spo, like oh snap, zone defenses like that's something you throw in high school, and now like let's see how it evolved in like in the NBA. You're backing out a zone in the finals. Jokic, people just go online in 2K when they see his zone, they don't know what to do. You flash the high post. There has to be movement. So honestly, a pure hooper. Like if you love basketball, you appreciate the series.
So here's what I'll call it. if you like ethical basketball,
Yeah,
you,
ethical
you like
hoops.
the
you,
Denver Nuggets.
you like
Like you
ethical
like the
hoops.
Denver Nuggets. They're good. They are an ethical basketball team. Like here's the thing. Like we just said, to beat a zone, you get the ball in the middle. You have a cut, a dunk. You have the dunk spot, and then you have a 3-point shooter in the corner. You can't. There's multiple possessions throughout that series where it was a throw into Jokic at the free throw line, dump down dunk, corner three. It just it the he's just so good at just reading and reacting.
Yeah,
I just like how do you I
and
don't know how you don't enjoy
and I
seeing
just
somebody play so well.
I just like never signed up for the notion that he's boring to watch because outside of insane athleticism, doesn't he have fun? He has amazing footwork down low, and honestly, his passes are just like I love his passes because a flashy pass in basketball is one of the best things to look at. Because the moment he catches the ball, like threading the needle to a cutter, that's just how do you not enjoy watching something like that? Like Jokic will catch the ball, and the moment it hits his hand, he'll touch pass it somewhere else. That's just I don't know how you don't enjoy watching that. And then Jamal Murray, he's one of those get a bucket type players, so they're fun. So he's also fun to watch. Aaron Gordon, insane athleticism. MPJ, when he touches the ball, you don't know what's about to happen. So they're just not a boring team to me.
No, I mean, and I'm with you 100%. And even like Miami, I wouldn't say is like they're a very solid basketball team. They are the best coach team in the league, more than most likely. I know some people will debate that, but overall, they
Yeah.
are the best coach team in the game.
I'll definitely say most disciplined. Like what they're doing out there, Coach Bo told them to do that. Because
Yes,
I still like think there's some arguments because like the way the Warrior system runs, but they get sloppy sometimes. So like
that's fair. Like,
yeah.
but Miami doesn't have the turnover issues like Golden State does. So,
Hmm.
like, I think Kerr gives them more freedom.
Yeah.
Like, besides Jimmy, who do you think really has freedom on Miami?
Yeah, nobody
Maybe
really.
Bam, and
Yeah, that's about it.
Bam's so hot and cold with like wanting to like
Hmm.
wants to score, and then all of a sudden has Jamal Murray in the post and fumbles it out of bounds. Like Bam's such a weird player like that. He's
Yeah.
so phenomenal on defense, but his offense is just so hot and cold. Um, yeah, totally agree with you. That was there was just moments in those games that were just so nice to watch, so refreshing level of basketball. Like, yeah, the Nuggets run a lot of pick and roll, but there's a lot that happens off their pick and roll that is
Yeah, it's not just a Boston pick and roll where it's pick and roll, throw out three. Like there's way more than that.
and there's possessions with Denver that the ball doesn't even touch the floor. Like we talked about, high cut,
Yeah.
back door. If the back door dunk's not open, swing to the corner, open three, one more
Yep.
pass, bubble poke three. Like again, it's just like there's just so many layers to
Yeah.
something so simple as a flash to the high post.
Their only unethical hooper is Michael Porter Jr. Outside
And
of that, they play great, beautiful basketball.
Michael Porter Jr. was not good in this
Yeah,
series. He was,
I undersold Jamal's playmaking. I didn't know he had it like that.
I mean,
I
I'm
thought
gonna,
I thought he
I'm
was
gonna.
just like a better Jordan Poole. No, he's way better than him.
Okay, so here I'll jump to this since you brought him up. Um, After this series, Jamal Murray, he went for 21 and a half a game, 6 rebounds a game, 10 assists a game. Where does he stack up? I'm going to call him a point guard because of his size. Where does he stack up in point guards for you right now um, in general?
Okay, he's definitely not above Luka, Curry, or Dame to me. I'll still have Ja and Fox above him. Outside of that, I think it's debatable. Pound for pound, granted, I'll still take Kyrie. But if somebody says they'll take Jamal over Kyrie because he may not have the peaks of Kyrie scoring, but like he gives more effort on defense and he's a better playmaker, I won't be too upset at that. So yeah, I'll have him seventh.
Seventh?
Even cause you still got Dame, Ja, Curry, Luca, Kyrie, and then I forgot who somebody else I just said. Oh yeah, Fox. So it's tough though.
It's close. It's getting
Yeah,
closer. He's definitely
yeah.
getting closer to that
But
top
I
five.
but But my only definites are Curry, Luca, and Dame.
So okay, so you're willing to be talked into him being fourth.
Yeah, like if you were to make the argument for him and Ja, I would still take Ja, but like if I think if
So
Ja was on Denver, I don't think he could fit in that role. But then they would switch to offense, so it's a totally different conversation.
so here's what I was listening to a podcast earlier, um, and Austin Rivers said this. He says he does not like when a player is so heavily dependent on being in the paint as a guard,
Oh, so he
as
was
a
talking about Ja
small.
and Shea in them.
So well, even Shea, I would say, is a better shooter than Ja, but
Yeah,
from three.
yeah,
But he said he doesn't like players who are so uber dependent on being in the paint. And Murray, I would say, is a better three-level scorer.
yeah, absolutely.
So he said he thinks it's closer with Ja and Murray now.
That's fair.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I was listening to it earlier, and I was wondering what you thought about that. But Jamal Murray, man, really, really good. I mean, the Nuggets had the best player in the league, and they ended up having the best duo in the finals.
Yeah,
It was really impressive.
yeah. Honestly, as a duo, I always knew they were nice, but I kind of undersold how good they were. I think they were. I think like the points responsible for between like their points and assists, the both of them combined, I think it was like a top five run ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, because then most of that had to do with Murray all of a sudden averaging 9, 10 assists. Definitely didn't see that coming. So
yeah,
yeah, that's
really, really good.
I think you could say they're the best duo in the league. On the pure talent standpoint, some people still might take like Luca, Kyrie, Booker Durant, but like off of like straight chemistry and mesh together, Jokic and Murray, that 2 man game is something.
That's fair. So yeah, I mean, really, just shout out to Denver. That was congratulations on their first championship. I really impressed with them throughout this whole playoff run. I mean, what they
16-4.
would they lose one game each series?
One to Timberwolves, two to Suns, swept Lakers, one Miami. So yeah, 16-4.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a
Two,
good. I mean, that's a good
yeah,
run, and it took Devin Booker being like,
yeah. It took Booker averaging like 38 on 80% to win
yeah.
those
So
games.
I mean, that was a really good run by Denver. What do you want to touch on next?
We can save him for last. What team should be optimistic and not so optimistic going into next year?
Okay, I'm going to start with the teams I don't think should be optimistic. I don't think the Lakers should be optimistic going into next year.
Even
I
with
don't.
the way Rui and Austin looked.
They still got swept. Like, like, yeah, they look good, but they still didn't have enough, and they got rid of one problem point guard for another problem point guard.
Yeah.
Like they they improved a little bit, but I wouldn't say the improvement is enough to win a championship. So, and they also aren't even do they. We don't even know what their roster is going to really look like at this point.
Yeah.
So, as of right now, LeBron's a year older. We don't know exactly what's happening with him. There are rumors going around. AD's still he's fantastic when he's on the court, but man, he got like Jokic took it to him.
Yeah.
Like as good as AD is, he's not in that league. Um, so not optimistic about the Lakers next year. I'm not optimistic about the Warriors. They need to make
Oh.
they need to make a change. What are you impressed about in this playoff run? There's nothing to be
Ah.
impressed about.
I mean, for one, they kept up like with the young gun Kings, beat them in 7 on their home court, and then if it wasn't for Klay Thompson having the most unethical series ever, I think they could have beat the Lakers. Then would they have guarded Jokic? Absolutely not. But ah, like
That's
I'm not
hey,
saying like they should. I'm not just saying
that
they should be favorites going into next year. But like I wouldn't say I'm down on them.
that was a very optimistic spin on them
Klay
because
Thompson.
they have roster issues. They have money issues. They are over the tax by a crazy amount of money already. They have things that have to change, and it's going to be hard for them to really get better. There's already rumors swirling about them trying to trade for one of the top picks. They've missed on all their picks. Why would you want to trade for another pick when you've already missed on a bunch of them recently? Next is the Hawks. They still have Trae Young, so there's nothing to be optimistic about. And finally, I hate to do this to you, the Washington Wizards do not have a reason to be optimistic going into next year. What teams are you not optimistic about?
Even though they're already bad this year, so it really doesn't matter. The Rockets, I think they're just going in a direction where they don't know what they're doing. The fact that they're even entertaining getting Kyrie, what are you doing? Like, all your young players need the ball in their hands. So I'm already not liking the direction they're going in, and it hurts because I like a lot of players on that team, but the Pelicans, Zion, we don't know if he's going to come back and if he's going to be healthy, and it's just CJ's getting a year older.
Yeah,
damn, man, like they was like in first place, then the season just went to hell.
See, but I think there is a reason to be optimistic about them, because if they can really make that move to trade up for Scoot, that changes things really quick.
But wouldn't that require Zion? I don't think they're doing a number 3 pick for Ingram. He's nice, but I don't know if they're doing that.
I think they would want to keep Ingram over. Like, you got to stop. CJ would be traded in that trade. He's not their best player. He's not even close. He would be in that trade before Ingram or Zion.
Yeah, but how would you do it then?
It would be like Herb, Murphy, CJ, and a pick.
Michael Jordan would get fired if he did.
He's already selling the team.
He would not be the GOAT if he did that.
I mean, if we're judging off GMs, he would already have lost the status. He's terrible. But the Pelicans all I know is the Pelicans are trying to trade up. And I saw they might trade with Houston. That would be interesting. Zion and Harden team up in Houston.
And the third not optimistic is Kawhi.
You're not optimistic about Kawhi.
Well, the Clippers. Because one, I don't know if Russ is coming back. And without that, they have another issue at point guard, which is what that was the issue the whole year, especially when they got rid of Wall.
That was an issue when they had Wall. So
yeah, I disagree. And then you just have, like, how many games is Kawhi really about to play? Because they load managed the hell out of him this year. They say, oh yeah, this is what we did that for, so he could play heavy minutes. And then after that quote, he has not played again. So
yeah, no, it's the Kawhi thing. I'm over the Kawhi thing. So
I think those 3 teams, they should be on watch.
Has anybody went from Kenzie's NBA champions pick in the preseason to not optimistic about them as fast as the Clippers? Because you dropped them like 30 games in.
When you make bad roster decisions, I'm allowed to change my opinion.
John Wall didn't even get picked up by anybody else.
You know, his last game, he had like, it was like 8. His last game, he had like 18-7 with a poster dunk. Then never played another game after that. Like, what are y'all doing? There's not 400 Hoovers better than Jonathan Hildred-Ward Jr. in the NBA. It's politics.
I mean, he's probably going to go play for Shanghai with Dwight, and they're going to be great. They're going to be a great duo with Shanghai. But his time in the NBA is coming to a close.
That's nonsense.
Okay. What teams are you optimistic about then?
Honestly, bro, the Knicks. Julius Randle can't play much worse in the playoffs when they get there again. So that's one team I'm very optimistic about. That's a bad choice? Do you think that's a bad choice?
Yeah.
Anyway, and then
What?
And then it's gonna sound crazy.
Well, your first one was crazy, so this can't be much worse.
But the Timberwolves, I feel like.
Why?
Did you not see Cat's comments? I think like he's ready to like take the leap.
I thought what Cat said today was the most stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard. He's changed the game of basketball.
Oh, okay. He was wilding with that.
What the fuck? He is a glorified stand and shoot 3-point player. He is not good anywhere else on the floor.
He's the second best offensive center.
Fuck no.
After Jokic, who's above him?
I would much rather have Embiid's game than Cat. Any day of the week. Any day of the week.
On offense.
Yeah.
No. Cat's the second best offensive center.
Cat, what?
Cat is this.
No way.
He's
Because he can step out and shoot a three?
he has more than
doesn't
that.
do anything else special. He just doesn't.
He has more than that. He's a decent passer. He's
If he's a decent passer,
I don't know about all that. I don't know all that.
I
Purely
would much rather have Embiid by the basket. I'd much rather have Embiid's mid-range. Cat has literally a pick and pop three. That's it. That's all he's terrible. He's borderline. He literally should be a Cavalier. No, but I'm being serious. There's in no world would I rather have Cat's game than Embiid's. That's insane. There's no way.
And then third, I would have the Kings. I thought the Warriors would get them out of in like 5 or 6, but what I saw from them was scary, and that was with Sabonis being afraid to take anything that wasn't a layup. So yeah, like third, I'd have the Kings.
Okay, so my teams to be optimistic for are not the Timberwolves. They are not the Knicks. I have the Kings as my first team to be optimistic about. I think they're only going to get better. They're all young. I just expect them to be better again next year. And I said the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to be right back in contention again next year. I don't know what
they're kind of like a Warrior issue. They need some speed and like length on speed, athleticism on the wings.
I just think Miami I don't know what happened, but I think Milwaukee was better. And one more team I'm optimistic about. I know you're not going to like this, but I'm optimistic about the Magic.
That's disgusting.
I mean, they were already better than the Wizards this year.
Absolutely not.
Well, the records indicate they were.
We were above them.
I'm just kidding. But I do think the Magic are getting better. I think another year of Paulo and Franz, and if they could somehow like swing Fred VanVleet or something, that team really could be like the 7th or 8th seed. And in comparison to where they've been, that's really good.
They're a frisky playing team.
That's great. Good for them. That'll be better than where the Wizards are. Okay. Without knowing anything else that's going to happen, who is your favorite to win the East and the West next year?
Boston.
Okay.
Denver.
Okay. I had written down for the West, I had Denver and Phoenix. And for the East, I had the Bucks and Boston.
As much as I wanted to say Golden State, Looney, you could rebound, but I think it would have got ugly down there.
Poole's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
He's borderline unplayable in the playoffs. Clay is at the end of his rope. Draymond thinks he's a max player when he should be trying to help the team. Steph Curry's great, but the rest of them are just not.
Honestly, we might have to give Curry more credit for that finals performance because Poole was their second or third best scorer. And seeing what Poole is, I don't know how he did that on Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, Grant Williams. Like, I don't know how he did that.
It was just an outlier. It was just one of those things that never would happen again. Okay, so I know this is what you've been waiting for.
I've been waiting once. I've been waiting years.
It's crazy that you have to wait till after the finals to say something bad about this person, which, the harder you look, it is more apparent that playoff Jimmy is a little bit of a farce. It's not as accurate as people make it out to be. So go ahead, Kenzie. I'll let you start, and then I'll go from there.
Before I start, I'll just have one question. When do you think playoff Jimmy started?
Probably when he got to Miami.
Okay. Well,
Well, I mean, he had some good games in Minnesota. Well, where was it Philly that he had? At one of those two places he had some good series, but it really started when he got to Miami.
So that 2020 in the bubble.
I mean, I think I looked back at it. I think overall he was very good.
All right, boom, boom, boom. All right, so this is my issue, right?
I'm also picking like I'm not also gonna just stat watch because if we're just stat watching, then it could look ugly because he was still really good in that playoff run
Yeah,
in 2020,
I'm finding really good.
and he was insane in the finals when it mattered most. So like that like if you're gonna try to nitpick 2020, I'm not gonna side with you.
I'm nitpicking everything.
Okay, let's go. Go ahead.
All
I'm
right, so
waiting.
with player Jimmy, I've always said he's good. He's great sometimes, but the all-time player performer, better than Miami LeBron, top 5 player performer of all time. We just have to stop it, man. To me, to my knowledge, the playoff Jimmy stuff started in the bubble, mostly when the Heat beat the Bucks, because nobody saw that coming. Now in that series, is he just a volume scorer? No, he does other things. He's a decent to good playmaker. He plays defense. But in that Bucks series that they won in 5, the story was the wall they built on Giannis, and that was Bam's coming out party for his versatility. Jimmy in that series had a 40 ball, then he had 14. Then he had a 30 ball, then he had 17. Then he had 17. He's always been up and down in the playoffs. And then even in the ECF versus Boston, he was the fourth leading scorer on his team. He didn't average 20. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't the best player on the team, but it's just like when, oh, this is a carry job on a level of what LeBron did. It's just, could we relax a bit? In no world will LeBron's team ever make a finals with LeBron averaging under 20 points and being the fourth leading scorer. It's just not possible. So I'm fine with saying Jimmy has insane peaks, but his lows are pretty just average starterish. And then the next year, he got outscored by Bryn Forbes in the playoffs. What are we doing here? They got swept.
What
Bryn
year?
Forbes, right after the bubble, Miami played the Bucks again in 2021 in the first round. Yeah, and in the first round, Bryn Forbes outscored Jimmy that series 60-58.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
then 2022, same thing. He had they had the Hawks round 1. They got them out of there. He was good. He had good games versus Philly, good and great games versus Boston, still up and down. And then even this year, great, amazing versus the Bucks. As one of his biggest haters, I was like, damn, son, what do I do now? Luckily, he kept playing, and he saved me. Because versus the Knicks, Bam was the best player.
Luckily, he kept playing.
And he kept playing. Versus the Knicks, Bam was his best player, or was the best player on the Heat. Versus Boston, if you want to say Jimmy was the best, okay. But there was an argument for Caleb Martin and a few other players. There was an argument.
Actually, if you go back and look at it, game 1 and 2, it was all Jimmy. Winning
Yeah,
those two games in Boston was crazy.
yeah.
So
And then he went missing.
no, he really didn't. I have it.
Went missing.
I promise you, he didn't.
The simple fact that he didn't that game 6 Reggie Miller was like, oh, you could argue he was the third best player, and then Jimmy still like won the MVP vote for the series. That's just crazy. But again, if you want to
Reggie
say
Miller voted for him, so you can't really take Reggie Miller's opinion on
yeah,
anything.
that's what had me baffled. But then even moving off of that, if you want to say he was the best player on that series, okay. But it's the fact that it's the fact that they're just saying, oh, he led them to the finals. This is a historic run by Jimmy. Let's relax. It was very up and down. And then even in the Nugget series, very up and down. Well, mostly down. There was like maybe like one up. So can we just relax with the play of Jimmy stuff? He has some great games, but also very, very bad games. He's good. He's cool. He alright. But play of Jimmy, no, it's a myth.
Okay, that's fair. Against Boston, he had one really bad game. Other than that, he was really good.
What did he do game 5 and 6?
Um,
Because I know game 6 he was dookie until like
game
the final
5.
4
Game
minutes.
5, he was 5 of 10. He had his lowest game score in game 5. But in every other game, he was. He was good.
Game 6 is a bit muddy because he was ass until like those final 4 minutes when he just had like 10 free throws.
Well, I mean, if you want to like spin that, sure. But he also had 8 assists. He had 11 rebounds. He had
Yeah, he was cool.
a couple steals. But he also had 12 of 14 from the free throw line, and he was 2 of 4 from three. And I think those threes were like in
Yeah,
the fourth quarter.
yeah, mostly in the fourth because I think I remember he was getting baked on the timeline all that game and then like he just erupted in the final 4 minutes. He was cool.
Yeah, no, he was. I mean, that's fair. Like I said, really, other than the Bucks, it was a very roller coaster ride for Jimmy.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm fine with you just saying that. Like if people are just saying that, I'm perfectly fine with that. It's just it's just like even at one point you were like, bro, better than Miami LeBron. What are we doing here?
Well, that was where
Yeah,
like
it's just like it's just with me at a certain point. I'm like, can y'all relax with the outside of like Jordan and like three other pantheon greats, who would you take other than Jimmy in the playoffs? That's when I'm like, y'all bugging. That's just
yeah,
my main issue. I'm not saying he's not good in the playoffs.
yeah, no. When you start comparing him to LeBron, it's a problem. Jimmy, a lot of. Also, to be fair, nitpicking a Knicks series where both teams were just terrible is not great because that was a really bad series in general.
It was, but he wasn't
I
the best
mean,
player in the series. You
and
could
to
argue
say
he was third.
Bam was better is when Jimmy averaged 25, 7, and 6 is kind of
It was,
manipulating the numbers a little bit there.
Bam was better. Brunson was better. He was the third best player in the series.
25, 7, and 6. Here's the thing. Jimmy Butler, he is a solid player, but I don't think Miami can win a championship with him as the number one
Yeah,
scoring option. That is, I do think they could do very well with him being the number one facilitator and defender still. But next year he's going to be 34. Like he's not that young anymore. So it's kind of like, do they go get Dame? Do they get Beal? Do they get, I don't know who else would be really a difference maker besides Dame. Dame would be a real difference maker. I don't think they would win the finals with
I'd
Beal.
cry.
Well, I just
I'd cry.
they got to try to go do something. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think the Jimmy playoff Jimmy kind of capsized there in the finals. He was not good. I mean, he took the second most field goal attempts on the team behind Bam. He shot 41% from the field, 37 from three, but he only shot 19 times. 21, 5, and 6. He only got 31 free throws in that series. He had 54 against Boston, 53 against New York, and like 60 something against the Bucks. It was crazy.
That's outrageous.
So like the free throw differential really hurt Jimmy Butler as against the Nuggets. So now that we've done all this, where would you like to see your friend, your longtime pal, somebody that you covet dearly, who's you've overrated many times on the
Never,
timeline?
never
Where
once.
would you like to see Bradley Beal go to play basketball next season?
Listen, Bill. If you're not in the Wizards uniform, the only other option is New York. Outside of that, retire. No other jersey. It's acceptable. I'm lying. I wouldn't mind seeing him with LeBron because I do want LeBron to get a fifth. So if he does go to the Lakers, I'll be fine with that. But it's either Washington, the Knicks, which I don't know what they're giving us for
I
that.
was
Like
going to say, what would you take for Beal? RJ, Obi, 2 picks, 3 picks?
I don't know if this will get demonetized, but RJ and Denny is terroristic hoops. I don't know if I could watch
Okay.
that.
All right. Well, I guess that trade's not going to happen. So
I don't know if I could watch that.
that would be rough. But yeah, I think those are three. Two. I mean, LA's a good one. I do think Miami's a good option for Beal. I do think. I'm trying to think who else would be good for Beal. He needs a really good player next to him. I just
Uh,
don't like. I don't like.
yeah,
I don't.
I don't know why it's like I don't know like why I'm seeing him in trades to Boston because even though I think he's slightly better than Jalen Brown, that's not relax, 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 relax. Beal has a left. Yo, what are you doing? You know that man averaged 30 back-to-back seasons.
Like
Yo,
here's the thing. If
Beal is
if
so underrated.
if Bryn Forbes shot 23 times a game, he would average 30.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Okay.
thing. Like it's just averaging 30 points on 23 attempts isn't that
Huh?
crazy.
Why
It's
don't
just
you
not.
why don't you like bucket getters? CJ, Bill, Trey Young, like you don't like bucket getters.
Because it's a detriment to the team. Like the buckets don't equate to winning. Just scoring for the sake of scoring is not impressive. Every year besides those 2 years, he is a 20 to 25 point scorer. And 25 is the high end of that for sure. It's not like when you parade him around as a 30-point scorer, it happened twice in 11 years. It's not like it's consistent. The only thing consistent about Bradley Beal is he's not any good without John Wall.
That's not true. That's
That's
not
the
true.
truth. That's the truth. That's the truth, unfortunately. Sorry.
Look, man, Beal's a 6'5" T Mac. He can get
If
it.
T-Mac couldn't jump, sure.
He can get it like
It's not
yo.
as it's not remotely T-Mac level. It's just not.
He's one of the best 3-level scorers in the game. His floater percentage this year was amazing. He can shoot free throws. His three ball. I don't know where his three ball went. It's been a bit down since Wall was here. But like his handle, he's just one of the best shot creators and bucket getters in the game. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you that like the top 4 or 5 shooting guards, they're all interchangeable. Like swap.
Beal isn't in the top 4 or 5, so it doesn't matter.
Like if you
He's
was
not better than Booker. He's not better than Brown.
debatable,
He's
debatable, debatable.
No, it's not debatable. He's not in Devin Booker's league at all. Jalen Brown, better two-way player, scores more points, scores more effectively. Just because he can't dribble in the playoffs doesn't mean he's not better. Bradley Beal hasn't even been to the playoffs in how long?
2021 when we had Russ.
It's been 3 years now.
He averaged 30 when we was there.
Cool. I could average
On
30 on 23 attempts,
on a tough Philly defense, they had Ben Simmons.
which turns out he's terrible.
On a tough Philly defense, but like it's some of the trade packages I'm seeing. Like people are talking like Beal is Tyler. They're talking like Bill is Tyler Hero with a bad contract. Like, no, this man's an all NBA player. He's made all-star games. He's averaged 30. He's had 60-point games. He has multiple 50-point games. Like, Beal is being massively underrated. Like, I understand how his contract looks, but y'all got to look past the contract. That man is nice.
How do you look past $50 million?
Do you want to win a ring? Yes or no?
He's not going to win you a ring.
Bill,
Nothing he's done in his career has indicated he can take you anywhere.
Giannis would be holding up a trophy right now if they had Beal instead of Drew or Middleton.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely. Giannis would be hoisting a trophy if he had
Giannis
Bradley
already has a trophy. He doesn't need Beal's help. He did it by himself.
You see what Jamal Murray just did? Beal would do that too.
Drew Holiday's an all-star. Bradley Beal's been an all-star 3 times in 11 years.
They're not. They're not.
So overrated.
They're not close as players. Drew and Beal are not close as players.
I'd rather have Drew.
I know you don't believe that.
I would.
There's no way you believe that.
I would rather have Drew. I'd rather have Middleton also.
Beal on Miami, they would have lost in 6.
Cool.
As long as you know, he'd have got one more game than Jimmy.
Cool. Like what?
He'd have got one more game than Jimmy.
Nothing Bradley Beal has done in his career indicates anything you're saying. It just doesn't. He's not good enough to. He's not good enough to lead the Wizards to even the play-in. He's just not.
It's because Kuzma and KP also missed games. The 3 of them together, when we were healthy, we had a good record, man. It's just all 3 were just in and out the line.
What are you calling a good record? Because either way, you were under 500.
Nah, we were over 500 at one point in time with them.
game one,
No, in the
the
middle of January.
first week. Like, what are we doing here? There's there's no way that you like Bradley Beal's he's never led anybody anywhere
Oh,
as the number one
oh,
ever.
oh, all we need is like we just need better point guard play, man. Because I still believe in Danny Gaff.
But you guys are literally rebuilding, so it doesn't
We're
matter.
not rebuilding, man.
So what's going to happen when you trade away Beal and KP? What's
Look,
the
man,
plan?
you can't believe everything you see online, man. We're not rebuilding.
So when you guys trade Beal and KP and you're rebuilding, and we come on this podcast and you're upset, then what?
Then I saw some promising things from Johnny Davis the final 3 games of the season.
That is sad. I feel bad. I actually feel bad for you because Johnny Davis is terrible. But that's the life of a Wizards fan. Not a lot to be excited about.
Wall, come back. We'll make the playoffs.
Wall, leave the Shanghai Sharks to come back to Washington.
Well, we need you. We need you, John.
Bottom of the barrel. That is bottom of the barrel. Well, Kinsey, I think that's it for this week. I'm glad we got all that Wizards talk in there. Had to tell the truth about Bradley Beal's career, unfortunately. Yeah, calling him the one of the best. I'd rather have Jamal Murray than Bradley Beal too, for sure. I'm trying to think who else.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Better than Mitchell.
I don't get it. Shea averages 30, misses the playoffs. He's beloved. When Bill does it, it's empty stats. I guess.
If you can't see the difference between Shea and Bradley Beal, I feel bad for you.
Yeah, one did it with pure skill. One got 11 free throws a game.
Okay, well, that's a great attempt at swaying nobody. Nobody swayed on that one. Because I'd say 99 out of 100 people would say they'd rather have Shea as their number one than Bradley Beal.
That's outrageous.
It's
Actually
not.
outrageous.
You'd be the one person that say you want Beal over Shea.
Shea as a number one has done nothing more than Bill as a number one.
Because
Both his playoffs.
Team has literally been tanking the entire time. It's not his fault. It's a big difference.
It's not Bill's fault.
You guys tank for the 7th pick. It's great. It's so good. It's really helped you guys tanking for the seventh pick.
He tried his best. I can show you some numbers that prove Bill is still a top 10, top 15 guy.
He's never been a top 10 player in the league.
All right, I guess they were 10. Top 15 guy.
When was this? When
was Bill a top 15 guy?
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Exactly. No, you tell me explain to me when Bradley Beal was a top 15 player in the NBA.
From 2019 up until this season. you don't. You're not the second leading scorer in the NBA and not top 15 guy. That's just not possible.
What does that matter?
That's not possible.
Okay, he was what? He was second in the NBA in scoring what year? 2021? 2020, 21?
Yeah, the bubble year and the year after that.
Oh yeah, the year he only scored. The year he only played 60 games.
Bubble.
Okay, let me see. You guys went. Let's see. You guys lost a lot of games that year.
That was the year Wall just got hurt. Our starting point guard was Isaiah Thomas and then
To
Ishmael.
start off the year, you guys lost 5 straight games.
That happens.
Then you won 2. Then you lost 3. Then you lost 4. Jesus, you guys suck. So, cool. He averaged 31 on a freaking terrible team. This is what I'm talking about. It's terrible. He scored 60 and lost to Boston.
That's not his fault.
It's so empty. It's just so
empty. Empty stats don't exist.
It's so empty.
Empty stats do not exist.
All right. Well, I'm telling you right now, I cannot tell you a time when Bradley Beal was ever a top 15 player in the NBA.
If he gets traded to contender, I don't want to hear, oh, that's unfair. They got him and Bill. No.
I'm never gonna say that ever. Oh damn, guys, they got Bradley Beal. No, not gonna happen.
This is okay.
All right.
They sleep 3. What you gonna do 3? How you gonna respond 3?
I'm gonna leave the Wizards. Kenzie. I can't win here. These guys suck.
Show them who you are 3.
Show them how you are. You couldn't win in Washington. All right, guys. HOA out. You guys enjoy the rest of your sports. If you like baseball, hell of a time for baseball. No basketball for a while. Free agency's coming up. The offseason will still be interesting. And then basketball starts up soon, Kenzie, or football starts up soon.
Yeah.
I'm ready for football. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next time.